Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to First and Denton on the North Texas Streaming Network, where we cover Denton High School football teams. I'm Seth Wickman.
And I'm Jay Lathan.
And we've got a bit of a different show for you here today. There were no home games here over the weekend in Denton due to bye weeks. And me and Jay, he'll be joining me on the desk just talking through what's happened, what's to come, and what to expect. So now that week 4 is wrapped up, we kind of have an idea on these teams' identities. And district play has already begun for 5A, while it will start later this week for 6A. Jay, kind of explain to me what this means exactly. What's the difference between district and non-district play?
Well, the non-district play is where you really get to play around with your schedule. You pick whatever teams you want to play. These are usually going to be your challenges. This is where you're going to build your team up for the district play. Where the district play, these are the teams you will have to battle with week in, week out. These are non-negotiables, and these will be the teams that you have to beat to get in the playoffs.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. Let's start off with the Denton Ryan Raiders. You know, they've had a pretty strong start to their season. They're 3-0. Head coach Dave Hennigan going into his 11th season. I mean, they've just showed absolute dominance on defense while scoring on offense. Kind of take me through what they need to do to keep up with their dominance going into district play.
And I mean, if we're talking about the 4 teams we cover, Denton Ryan, I would say, has to be the most experienced. I mean, Coach Hennigan has taken them to 7 state titles, 7 of those things, and won 5 of them. And I mean, in 11 seasons, he's just been a powerhouse day in and day out. And I think that the experience is why I have them as one of my favorite teams to win this district.
Right. I mean, they've shown complete dominance on offense and defense. I mean, they beat to the Timberview Wolves 28-0. I mean, you can't get much better than that. You can't really ask for much. Their last game against Fossil Ridge was 56-3. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they have outscored their opponents 126-35. I mean, over these last few games. I mean, it's just been absolute dominance. Someone that I want to talk about is Braden Mussett, their returner, wide receiver, and he's a Wildcat QB. He's kind of got, you know, he can do it all, really. He's got 134 return yards. Talk to me about this kid, man.
I mean, Braden Mussett is a guy who is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. I mean, Coach Hennigan has even said he's thought about putting him on defense, and he's looking to find a home up the road, has a UNT offer. And I think if he just keeps playing like he does a little bit of everything. He has 134 return yards. So he does have the speed. He does have the big play making here. And I think UNT's got a spot for him. He keeps this up.
Right. Oh, I would love to have him on our team. I mean, that would be pretty crazy if he decided to commit. And, Uzziah Warmate on that defensive line, he's got 3 stars as well. 3 sacks on the seasons, 9 pressures. I mean, talk to me about this guy. He's really contributed to the dominance on that Ryan defense. And,
I mean, the Ryan defense only giving up 3 points. 3 points in their last 2 games. That's pretty ferocious, and I think Warmate is one of the reasons why. Another reason why I'm going to go with Byron, the safety, Byron Simmons. The guy has 2 interceptions and 16 tackles.
I mean, yeah, that's very impressive, Jay. I mean, what else can you say? All right, let's move on to Denton High, shall we? Denton High is not doing so highly this season so far. They've got Billy Miller, head coach, with the 1-3 record. Their only win was against Eastern Hills, which is a 4A school, and they beat them 28-6. And they've actually started district play, and they're already 0-2. Talk to me about what they need to get done to sort of improve their play going into district.
Well, first things first, they have to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. I mean, they have a 2-quarterback system, and neither one of the guys seems to have like just an X factor here. But I mean, you have Terrence Lopez and you have Josiah Marshall, and they kind of just put them hand in hand doing whatever. But I do like the bright spot with Jordan Sanchez. He's a guy that is leading that team in receiving, as he had 99 yards last week against Azle. Mm-hmm. And I think the offense just has to do something more, because you're just keeping your defense on the field, and they get tired out after a while.
Right, yeah. Sanchez had only 2 catches and ended up for 99 yards, so maybe they need to figure out a way to get this guy the ball more often, and maybe he can capitalize on his opportunities and score for them. And they've only got 4 total touchdown passes on the year. It's this 2-quarterback system with Lopez. It's just Lopez and Marshall. Lopez only with 1 of those touchdown passes. I mean, I feel like personally, I would try to stick with one guy, maybe get his confidence going. What do you think about the 2-quarterback system?
I'm not really a fan of it considering you've only scored 20 points this season. So, I mean, obviously whatever you thought was going to work is not working out. But, I mean, like I said, you've been outscored 163 to 20. So, with one of those games being a 56 to nothing loss, I mean, you got to find something that's going to work, and you got to stick to it. I mean, but there is time for them to turn it around. So, eventually, something's got to turn their way sooner or later.
Yeah, the time will only tell. I mean, hey, I'm rooting for you, Broncos. I know y'all will figure it out. Y'all got this. We got this. They will figure it out, right, Jay? Come on.
You go. Come back like the Bronco. The Ford Bronco makes a comeback. Why not y'all? Turn the season around.
I'm saying, I believe in y'all. I believe in y'all. Y'all got this. All right, let's move on to the Broswell Bengals, who are 1-2 on the year. They got a second-year head coach in Kent Lasser. They lost their last game to Royce City, 36-26. That's the game that they kind of choked in that second half. Talk to me about what happened in that second half there.
I mean, the second half there, the offense just went stagnant. And, I mean, I think you're going to talk about that in a little bit. Like, Seth, the passing game does not exist for this team. I mean, they're a run-heavy team. And I don't necessarily blame them because, I mean, Jeremiah Shipp and Moses Adalowo, both two dominant forces on the ground. And, I mean, the passing game might need to expand this offense to get them points scored.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. The pass game would be a nice change of pace for this team. I would like to see them maybe get the ball in the air more often, and maybe that will open up some more opportunities, become a little less predictable, maybe pull out some of these wins. Their defense has also been slacking. I mean, their offense has been somewhat productive with their rush game, and they just have had heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. I mean, they lost to Eaton Eagles 49-42, and that was a tough one. I mean, that went down to the last minute, and if their defense picked up, I feel like they've really got a shot to go far in the playoffs here. Jay, what do you think about that?
And I think with a team that's run heavy as it is, it would chew the clock up. It would give your defense a time to catch a breather. But, I mean, this is one of the tightest margins we've had out of all of these teams that we covered. They've given up 110 points and only scored 131. So, I mean, they are productive on offense, but this defense can't stop a league.
I see you. I feel you, man. I would have to agree with you on that. All right, should we move on to the Geyer Wildcats, who are 2-1 with head coach Reed Heim. Just took their first loss to North Crowley Panthers, 28-49. North Crowley is ranked second in Texas, so maybe you weren't really expecting a win there. I mean, that team is absolutely dominant. Talk to me about what Geyer's got going on, Jay.
And, I mean, Geyer might be one of the most talented teams in their district. I mean, you have an OU commit in the quarterback Kevin Sperry, along with Mason White, who put up big numbers. You got Sterling Schneider at running back. I mean, the list goes on and on. I haven't even mentioned the underclassman in Kyron Haywood, who has 18 offers. And, I mean, this team is loaded across the board, and, I mean, they could definitely a tool to get a deep run.
Yeah, and another weapon for them, I mean, Sterling Schneider, 205 rush yards in one game against the Martin Warriors. He's got 275 on the year. If they really got him going more often as well, I mean, if he had another explosive game like that, there's no stopping that guy. And they've only allowed 77 points and scored 101. I mean, that's a pretty good ratio if you ask me. What does their district play look like, Jay?
And, I mean, the district play it's tough, but I feel like what Coach Heim did in scheduling their out-of-district games against three great opponents. I mean, you play the number 2 team in Texas. You play a historically great Alito team. I mean, Arlington Martin was no slouch either. They got out to a lead on Geyer. So, I mean, I think they've been tooled and prepped. They've been put in a lot of tough situations here. And I think if they're probably another one of the better teams suited.
Definitely a contender for sure.
If you want to say it, I'm jumping on the bandwagon here. I'm going to ride the bandwagon all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, I would be hopping on that bandwagon as well with the way that they've been playing. They're definitely a contender. I mean, like you said, Kyron Haywood's got 3 sacks, and I mean, he's got 18 offers. I mean, that dude is just ridiculous. I mean, he's got talent all across the board, and there's no stopping him. But should we wrap it up here, man?
I think so, man. We'll wait to see with district play on the horizon. We'll see if these teams can bring in more highlights with all of their talent.
Yeah, Jay, these teams have had time to build their identities and kind of show us what they're about, and now the chase for the playoffs really does begin.
Thanks for watching. This has been First and 10. I'm Jay Lathan.
And I'm Seth Wickman. See you next week on the North Texas Streaming Network.